Welcome to the Intune Guitar Academy. Today I'm going to talk to you about a topic that can be a little perplexing to even some seasoned guitar players. The topic is how to play guitar standing up. Now the other day I went over to a friend's house for a jam and I came across a conversation between two of my friends. One friend was trying to help the other play guitar standing up, and I remembered back to when I tried to start playing standing up and how much of a challenge it was. So the information that I passed on to her to help her learn how to play standing up, I received from a guitar teacher a few years back. And what he told me was counterintuitive to me at the time, but it worked, so I'll pass on the information to you as well. To be able to play standing up, you have to be able to play sitting down better. How do you do that, you may ask? Well, let me explain. So the first thing that you have to do is move your guitar from the normal position that most guitar players start off with, which is resting the guitar on the outer thigh. And you notice a lot of times the fretboard's perfectly straight. So if you move your guitar to the inside, sort of cradle the guitar like it's a baby, then you have a lot easier time when you stand up because the guitar is going to be positioned in the center of your body. That's the first step. Next step is to lift up your guitar so that your headstock is almost parallel with your eye. So I got this from another guitar teacher. I only went and saw him a couple of times, but he gave me some really good advice that I've kept with me throughout the years. So the first one was, he was a classically trained classical guitar player, and the first thing that he taught me was to raise your headstock so that it's in line with your left eye. So if you're right-handed, it would be the mirror image, exact opposite. But for right-handed players, the normal position is with the headstock in line with your left eye. So that, if you think about it, why you do that, it reduces strain on your forearm, on your wrist, on your hand, and on your fingers. Because if you think about the way that most players start off with, guitars resting on this lap, on the outer lap, furthest away from the fretboard, your guitar is almost straight out. You get that strain from your wrist and your forearm. So if you move it this way, you lift this up in line with your eye, much better for your ergonomics and much easier to play down the line. So you can form your chords a lot easier. The other thing that same classical guitar teacher told me was to make sure that your strumming hand is positioned over the hole. And I guess I got lazy throughout the years and was playing down here. But if you move your hand, your strumming hand, over top of the sound hole, or if you're playing electric, right over top or in between the pickups, you have a much better sound being produced out of your guitar by putting your hand over top of the sound hole. And I've noticed, going to concerts, I've noticed, for example, Iron Maiden, I've seen them a couple times live, and other bands I've seen live. Guitar players, a lot of times that are well-trained and very good, like for example, the guitar players in Iron Maiden are masters amongst masters. They hold their guitars with the headstock pointing upwards. So you'll have a much easier time if you do those simple things. So first, this will take some getting used to. Move your guitar from the outer thigh to the inner thigh, and then try to move your headstock upwards a bit, and then try to keep your hand over the sound hole. And a lot of times classical guitar players will have a footstool, and they'll rest their left foot if you're right-handed, or right foot if you're left-handed, on top of a footrest, I should say, not a footstool, but a footrest. Most music stores sell those types of footrests. I don't have one, but they're available. And one word of caution, it will put a little bit of strain on your outside thigh or hip. So make sure when you're playing this way to get up, walk around, stretch out a bit so you don't injure your hip in the process. So those are the starting tips to be able to play standing up, is to move your guitar in this position and lift your headstock up a bit and make sure you position your hand right. So by making these simple adjustments, you too could also start playing standing up, and you'll have a much easier time doing it. Try incorporating these simple adjustments into your guitar playing and see how it works for you. Thank you for joining me on the Intune Guitar Academy, and we'll see you next time.